All right. So once again, thank you for coming. This is what I'll call the Occasional World Usability Day speaker series. We have a channel, and this will be posted once we get it cleaned up on the channel. And I will put that link in the chat. So first, I just want to do a couple of sort of logistical things. If you can turn your camera on, that would be great. We would love to see you. Our speaker, Max Tkachuk, which I will introduce in a minute. Changed it so it's Max. That's easy. So while he's speaking, if you have the camera off, that's fine, but we will try to have a discussion later, and it'd be great to see everybody. We'd love to know where you are from. I know we have people, as far as I can tell, from literally all around the world. So please put where you're from in the chat. And what we're going to do is have a period of question and answers after Max is done speaking. And the way it'll work is if you want to ask a question or have a comment, raise your hand, and there is an icon for that. If you raise your hand like this, we will try to also call on you. Now we have some tech support here, which is also my son and a reporter, Dan Rosenzweig-Ziff. So he's on to help out for any technical, thank you for waving, Dan. For any technical issues, if you have any technical problems or you want to get my attention or Max's attention, I suggest you send a direct chat to Dan, and he knows how to get a hold of us. And if you have any questions that you'd like to ask in the chat, you can put those in the chat, and Dan will make sure we get to those as well. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Max Tkachuk. Hopefully I pronounced your name right. A designer and manager from Ukraine. And he's going to be talking to us about the design community in Ukraine. And one thing I just want to point out is having spent a lot of time now talking with Max, I think what he's about to tell us is a wonderful model for many communities around the world that are experiencing hardship, war, discrimination, all sorts of stuff, and not able to develop as quickly as they want. So I think that what Max will be talking about is an extensible, in my mind, an extensible model that we can try to use in other places as well. So without further ado, I turn it over to Max, and Slava Ukraini.
Rohem Slava, thank you. We need to make this like that. Okay, hi guys, nice to meet you, those who I don't know, and especially nice to meet you, those who I do know. And it's surprising to see so many people I do know, and especially several of them I'd like to be like highly voiced after I finish, so we can make this not only my opinion and results of our research, but like the collaborative point of view on several topics. So what we're gonna do today, for those who don't know Ukraine or me, we start with Ukraine on some high level things. We go jump from the top so you have a grasp of what Ukraine technologically is for today as a developing economy. Yeah? So 4G connection has good coverage, is for like telco thing. Yeah, internet access is fast and cheap even on mobile in Ukraine. E-scooters such as Bolt application are widespread a couple of years now. Yeah, food delivery is widespread. Shipping is next day or 2 days, like throughout the country. Governmental services go digital like fast forward. We have great educational level done by the hands of people who study. Not to tell that governmental is bad, but private education is really good. And we have super talented kids who are like under 20 now. From bad perspectives, what do we have? Planning economy, like legacy of USSR thinking, yeah? which means broken feedback loop or no feedback loop at all from producer to consumer. Quality sacrificed to quantity any given time, excluding mostly like arms, army and sports. Consume what state has provided, comrade. It's like the relation between producer and consumer mostly still sits deeply in the mindset of Ukrainian people. Alone, we have huge marketing lobby. Many designers are staying there, not developing themselves wider, living this movie called 99 Francs. Who saw it? We have big engineering lobby because of USSR legacy of education closer to military industrial complex. We have high risk doing business, of course, versus opportunities. And we have some big infrastructure gaps on basic levels. Say you better not drink water from the tap. About me, some words. I'm software development by my education. I've been bitten by Nielsen Norman Group early on, age 23. Since then, I'm like close adherent of iterative design approach and trying to develop it to the context of Ukraine. And my professional journey took many disciplines. Now I'm kind of managing design teams and being fond of a couple of projects. Through my interest, there are elevators. I started them. There is soccer. I'm ex-soccer player. And there is a game called Borderlands. I'm a huge fan of that. Okay, if you see my career ladder, you can spot that almost any touches between me and companies were mostly product-led. I was working on products, digital products and services. One of the steps is co-founding Service Design Network in Ukraine, but it's another story. Today we'll touch the model of design maturity for organizations in Ukraine, talking in other words, bringing iterative design process to, say, product management level. Terms we'll use and frameworks that will appear throughout this presentation will appear like design thinking, design sprint, product discovery, user research, UX design, product design, service design, other scary words. It's based mostly on our research into educational products we've been doing. It's product design training, 3 years in now, product design mentorship program. We stopped for some time, but we had really good results from them. We have outstanding feedback from students on company level, 300 plus graduates, both corporation and B2C market. 30% of that graduates are not designers at all. They are part of product teams, but not designers. Okay, we touched in one way or another a lot of companies. Some was trainer, some was providing a task, some was a student. Our motto was working on real task from backlogs. So you can see how many people in one way or another participated in our research. First, it was analyzing the designers and state of designers in Ukraine, 2018, and based on that was created the model, and this is the presentation of it. And here we're coming to the day like today. We'll see these things, starting with word maturity. We need to make a couple of definitions in here. If we study maturity, we can understand that maturity is a measurement of ability of an organization to continuously improve itself in a particular discipline. If we're talking design maturity, so it's about design, in particular discipline of design. So if you go, say, to a designer and ask for a good design maturity read, mostly you'll get one of these three. Maybe a couple of years, last years, we have maybe 4 or 5, but these works are really, body work is really good. So started in 2013, Design Management Institute, they had even a scorecard. So if you're mature enough with this scorecard, you can go and understand how to bring the maturity to your organization with the help of design. These guys, this slide is really famous. These guys started to analyze why these companies are doing so good, because all of them are declaring deep integration of design inside the organization. Why this happens? Another work of the McKinsey guys, as I'm not mistaken, was non-controlled questionnaire and non-controlled answering, saying what are you actually seen as missing points, and a lot of intersecting answers really close to design, yeah, like cross-functional talent, continuous iteration, user experience. Those are really important from like heads of management. From other side, we see that the deeper integration goes, the less companies you have with that state. And the most interesting part is the right bottom corner of this is actually who is asking design to do something inside the company, who reports, to who design reports. And we can see that product, CEO, marketing, and engineering making the lion part of that. What means if you are like having design in your organization and you not succeed, it's because of you, not a designer mostly. Think of this a bit. So when we are talking about design maturity and trying to visualize it, most of approaches of visualizing design maturity are like this. It's a list, a ladder, where you try to spot a place of your company today and build some kind of a roadmap of achieving the higher places in future. Yeah? And if you can see, visualizations are really different, but mostly they are the same. It's a ladder. One after another, spot where are you now and how to achieve the next one and how to achieve the next one. You know Max, and especially Ukrainian guys know Max. Max is kind of different kind of guys, so he... Oh, by the way, one more. So this is pretty neat. This was an inspiration for our one, because it has not only like ladder steps, but like lenses you can see through, yeah, timing of UX, yeah, availability of resources for that, and leadership and culture issues while you're doing this. So not only ladder, but some lenses you can look it through, yeah. And if we're only touching UX, it will be not a bad template. While we are going to product management level, it's not enough to touch UX. So we need some easy way to explain our concept of design maturity, because we are breaking this term into several things. If you remember this game, late 90s, early zeros, we have Revolt. This is a small game. You have small cars driving around like house and kitchen and a yard. You can take bonuses like battery and run faster, like some water bulbs to shoot your enemies. And what's surprising is small amount of characteristic of this car. There's not a lot of them. And it reminded us after research the state of the product teams in Ukraine and maybe internationally as well. It's not about speed, acceleration, or weight that makes a car, but intersection of all of those. And looking at those, you can predict or like expect the car to behave in some way or another. Light car will go fast, yeah, but because it can be shaked easily. Heavy car is not shakeable, but it goes slowly. Yeah, the same way go with product teams, and only because we are the people who form them, it's on us what the car we will build. And especially professional guys know that from time to time you kind of need different cars because tracks are different. Yeah. So we take these three: acceleration, weight, yeah, and speed, and map them to three pieces of design maturity from our standpoint. The central thing is money, how much you give to get something out. And there are two types of maturity actually in organization. One of them is internal design maturity, the thing that everybody treats as design maturity usually. And there is absolutely another way of treating maturity in organization. It's external design maturity. So how organization treats design. And if you take glasses of arrogant product manager, you can see a chart below. Arrogant product manager with engineering background see the world like that. He has a lot of external design maturity and pays a good buck, but those bastards, no shit. Yeah? The problem that highly mature person will never hire low mature person to do the job. That's why it's illusion. And it's a pity that many engineering-led product managers in Ukraine have this problem. Let's try to decompose those. So to decompose those and build a journey of Ukrainian design, we will put those. So all starts from bottom left corner, it goes up. And the first thing you have is low external design maturity. Early on, designers never are lucky to enter really high mature design state in the company. So they go to the state of the company as they are, low maturity, low budget, low their personal level. There what they find their first job. And it's almost like the whole value of this for the company, not only designer. It can last forever. The level of their understanding of design is brightly seen in their dialogues. Let's make border radius of the button less or more. Let's color it with gradient, not a color. Yeah, those level of discussions make people think they know design and like feel they are speaking together is trying to solve something. And companies can stay forever in that stage. How they can break this circle, yeah? How they can like go further. There are two things. First is like this. Your company believes in you. It delivers money. You grow the thing as design department and competence. And with help of that knowledge, you build up the company from inside out. There is another thing. It's when your management goes to some high level, like intensive service design or product design or innovation courses and understands that you as less mature designers are not fit to their current understanding, your understanding of the world. And design need to be viewed and managed inside their company after that courses. That's why if in first thing you leave as designer the company, the second thing is your management fires you and hires absolutely new people. The last thing both of these breaking of a circle bring you is this, some wished valley of success where you have high external design maturity that's highly de-risking the solution that they bring to you. Yeah? You have high internal design maturity and you are not ashamed of high investment in design because you know how to like organize it in proper way. Okay, Max, it's good you spotted some places, but isn't it interesting to go through them? What to see how they actually go from one to another? What's in between of those jumps? How we can see this journey from being on low to get into the high? How we can see making design maturity grow within the design department and then break to the whole organization? Yeah? Let's see. So these are results of our research, bringing it from low maturity to the middle one by believing in design inside organization by management, making money investment to make the design team shine, having strong belief that these will bring further maturing of design within the organization. Yeah? So when I was making this offline, I said, guys, take your one arm and raise if you see one of the items in the list to the left when it will appear. And hold it. And if you raise the second hand, if you see the second point. And after the third one, you clap your hands each time you see. We will not do this right now, but you, by your smiles, I will understand how pains described as like the generalized list of problems of design inside Ukrainian product team will reflect on your faces. So first and foremost, no design at all, just outsource it. Yeah, just outsource it. No design at all, no cumulative experience how to deal with design in your organization. No design, no problem. Yeah. Second one, There is no senior designer. You can't rely on the decision of that person. That makes you need as product manager to integrate the design deeply inside existing software development lifecycle. That brings this designer as just hands for you as product manager. Yeah? No design strategy. Probably you have design and even senior design, but there is no high-end vision of what design will bring to this company, say in a year or two. Yeah? The designers who exist in-house in product teams very often are not present on routines of sprints. So there is a planning, but there is no designer on that. There is retro demo, but there is no designer on that. Yeah? No influence on product management and in-sprint changes. So if sprint started and something went wrong and developer came to product manager, actually they fix the thing without even notifying designer. Designer sees the changes on production, becomes angry and runs to them. That's how it goes. No influence on front-end development. Especially like this, when you have no influence on both and they decide together, backend and front-end developer, a lot of user experience stuff. They don't understand that they do, but nonetheless. Design solutions are expensive to implement, and we put aside, do developers lie to us or not here? Yeah? Let's see, they don't, but nonetheless. Design sucks company-wide, and people inside the company are kind of okay with that. It's even scary. Yeah? Design culturally is treated as style and packaging. Old school third industrial revolution process of producing goods, and in the end you pack them. Yeah? Design is limited to marketable materials, yeah? Pre-sales, sales part, not about actual usage of the product or service. Development hostility towards design. Developers hate doing design and they explain it with their own set of excuses. You know, we have a stack, guy, the stack doesn't load that. You know, there is a legacy code, we don't touch that part. Or even, you know, it's your design that bad. It's not even we as engineers, it's you, designer. PM hostility, especially towards research, because product managers in Ukraine treat themselves as know everything person. Who are these artists creating the features according to their feelings? Yeah? Mostly looking at analytics. Discovery phase in Ukrainian companies, especially not famous ones, not those who are inside information bubble, let's say. This is disastrous state of things. The same but different set of excuses. You know, business model doesn't fit, you know, we have backlog being already stuffed, we have no time, users are far from here, we can add, and so on, so forth. And personal product manager hostility towards design in one taken personality. Very often it stumbles upon direct person who thinks that he or she knows design actually. And they set the measures for designers to act. And if these product managers don't know design actually, this broken. Okay, to run first step, you need to fix all of those. To get where your design department is kind of on iterative design on a scale mode is being like that. It's everything fixed. So here you can see like abstract genius designer entering the average Ukrainian IT company. And what he or she can do being even genius if the whole system, the whole set of company structure, culture, and all other things are against him or her. Yeah. So product managers who want to bring design and actually integrate it in a way that your customer data first becomes reactive, yeah, because you just research what you already decided, but then become proactive, making you understand what actually to do next. You need to move like this. Funny thing is that first step, after doing it, you actually never will have the same person do the step 2, because the step 2 will require to have person plus 5 years on top of this. Yeah? Let's take a look at a bigger organization when you're trying to bring design actually beyond design. You are touching centralization / decentralization. Not talking about remote, different time zones, we'll get this, yeah? But like, this is the biggest point, because many teams struggle. Centralized, matrix, decentralized, Spotify, many titles, many approaches. With big company, you have a gap appearing between senior and junior people. Rarely you find like good hired gun middle person. And juniors are kinda always changing, and seniors are kinda always stay. You try to make internal mentorship program for those juniors to rise up, but it only ends you wasting your time, because you're kinda not an educator. You even have a design strategy on this level, but it's sacrificed for anything. Yeah, it's object you can ignore all the company things. Departments starting to collide on design edges, and I'm expecting Andrew Glushko to smile right here, because like 2015, soft serve and problems with business analytics, pre-sales process and design were kind of this point, like mirroring that situation. Because when you are in a struggle and you are not clearly defined design inside an organization, you struggle to fight on the edges of where you end and when you are started. And many of like departments, when you struggle, actually fight for grasping more responsibility, not less. It's mine. Yeah, I will not give this away. Yeah. So these collisions appear and you need to deal with them in some way. Yeah? Some teams like commit the whole structure, a service team, to make this operation, all the processes change happen, but these people don't glue. They use this team as politics for their previous structure, defense. We still have here low product service backlog influence. It means discovery is actually done after the backlog is set. Discovery doesn't rule the backlog. Yeah? Low influence on product manager and in sprint design change stays. Design budget in this point in time becomes absolutely far from fair, because you did a lot of things, and mostly this is done with no budget increase. Yeah? No stable design teams because of the points about juniors. Yeah, designers come and go. Design system, even if it exists, is screaming for refactoring. Screaming for refactoring. Workshops you try to map within stakeholders and run don't affect the people you were hoping. Department silos become, while they are struggling, they become more political. They resist to join forces, to break themselves, break those silos. Products and services teams get restructured very often because of having no established process. And like we're always in the state of reorganization, says corporation. Yeah? So this list is absolutely different set of things to change, and the person who did the first will not be mostly able to run the second. He will be eaten on the organizational level. Okay, culturally, hostility towards service transformation, and we can go again to plan economies, USSR legacy, not having feedback loops. It sits deep in Ukrainian and ex-Soviet people mindset. Yeah, so no surprises in him. So here you see a square going from red to green, like from far radius of first bringing designers as robust department, and then bringing their experience beyond the department organizational level. You need to cover all of those from bottom to up, yeah, to top. Okay, first small part is done. We can spot all those things and lay out 4 levels of maturity, starting from no maturity at all, where design from standpoint of external design maturity happens as a process of magic, or as we can say, Magic Johnson, yeah? No maturity level. You can like grasp anything. You can be sure about it. It's magic. It appears somehow like a magic wand, yeah? So then you have kind of maturity level 1, and you can say we are done when you have iterative design process, tough as nails, ready to scale. Yeah, and this is the level where we in Ukraine stop. Some companies do have this stage, but mostly no companies have second and third stages. There is almost no companies who do have this culture and processes. Like by their badges, they do. Huge telco companies, huge banking sector, but actually when you look deep inside those companies, they don't resemble this state of things. They're actually on mostly maturity level 1. And you can see to the left, there is a running person and the phrase reason to relocate. This is the point where all Ukrainian, or most Ukrainian talented, really talented designers are leaving the country, yeah, and making their marks on many different products, projects, and we will touch how Ukrainian design and engineering communities spread across the globe today, a bit below. So, taking this, let's map out the designer community, yeah? Because designers in Ukraine have actually created for themselves some kind of a ladder experience of designer. They start with something called marketing/visual design. Actually, product is done in that perspective. And in marketing, you communicate product value via communication materials, marketing materials, and in visual design, you actually cover with a style already done product. Then when you talk to them, they kind of understand interface design and standalone thing because it's highly specialized. There is mobile interface design, there is web interface design, so device oriented thing. Starting from UX design, they started to understand that there is division between devices has gone because user experience is actual experience beyond one or another device, because customers nowadays can open email on mobile, click verification link, then open it on laptop, and they go. You need to be able to do all of that. Then you come like a product person, yeah, so you become obsessed with much more, yeah, both inside product team structure, embedding iterative design deep inside software development lifecycle, and another thing is going beyond user experience, being responsible for much more. As a service designer as well, who adds up even more, bringing non-digital and mixing them with digital, yeah, designing services with partial or no digital side at all, integrating design methodologies beyond design department. And then like fog, shapy business design, because there are many definitions out there. But the designers, and to the right, you can see how they feel themselves like going with their blackest set of knowledge, and dashed is kind of I can. Yeah? I can here, I can there. Let's map them out. Let's put one on another. It's like this. So most talent of product design is going beyond Ukraine. Another part of the talent being outsourced, yeah, and again, the brightest minds kind of outsourced in Ukraine. And what we are aiming to do is bring this thing higher, to make sure that big companies as telco and fintech actually have this service transformation through design, because the sweet spot of being product service system is much more brighter than it can seem. Okay, second part is done. What we can add? Couple words about discovery and how we can organize iterative discovery in product teams in a blink of an eye, having some methods being polished in our skill set. So if you know Andy Budd, old school designer, first wave of designers, late 90s, he found really funny picture. He said, you know what? One guy found all the employed guys, took the double diamond of a design process and mapped out employed people to each piece of a diamond. Isn't this funny? Isn't this showing you a Conway law in its essence? Your products look like your structure of a team. And this is how you have a double diamond being disproportionate. Yeah? How you can expect really good requirements in the first place if you spend 5% of your employees on that? Yeah, average. Let's say average, somebody even less. Yeah? And there was a joke next day on my Twitter. Product manager said, no, actually it looks like this. Design just skipped. It makes me laugh. I don't know how about you. So 90 plus time on delivery means, for goddamn sake, we need discovery. We need discovery, and how to arrange the discovery for especially engineering teams who know this on a level. You know, I have feature factory, I have delivery team, I need to add this, how you call it, discovery. So it will be like a real product team. Okay, let's take a look at John Cutler. Recommended to everyone who wants to be in a great shape between research design and product management. Follow this guy on Twitter. One of his works. So historically, we're coming from top to bottom, from waterfall to whole range product team. And you have some intermediate states. And you can think about each and every your team you're participating in and find yourself and maybe write down inside chart what to the right name of team you feel you are working with. Don't be afraid, we will not share this. Just say, oh, I'm DevOps, I'm Feature Factory. You know, we're Waterfall. Can you write this down for me, please? Each of you. I do this just for you to spend the time with this picture. Because discovery appears when you take first two left items. And it's high maturity product team, in other words, can do this. So you need to raise maturity to the level that you can actually not only plan requirements, but build your whole backlog because you own the customer feedback and base your next moves on the findings. How you can have it on every sprint thing. It goes as early as Dave Malouf, double and tree track, discovery sprints. It's all said and done many years ago. Let's take maybe a different look at this. It's like set of pictures. So we will put business model canvas on a background. I hope you're all familiar with that. We all know that we're working on value propositions as a result of our work inside the business. And we know that the lefter you go, the more business and operations people you meet and talk. The righter you go, the more product management and marketing people you meet and talk. And they shifted to the left to the right like this in a startup. It's debatable, highly debatable, so skip it for your... These guys spend money. These guys earn money. The value proposition is so bright, so it takes money to be produced, but sells it by itself. Yeah. The value flow is like that. You take partners and cost structure, create resources through activities, making a value proposition, setting relations, like bringing thing to the channel, through the channels to the customer, getting money. Yeah. So, if we know the flow, can we build, knowing the flow, something that will help us have the iterative research framework deep inside our software development without much hassle, especially when all prerequisites fit into this? Let's see. You have two data collection circles. To the left will be the company circle, operations people, business people, because a lot of data coming in and out you need to be aware of. You collect this with stakeholder interviews and other variants of getting knowledge from people of your organization to your head. You bring business model canvas as an asset if you need. Here, you decompose the head of your management so you know it. On orthodox side, you build Pareto customer journey map just from the eyes of your stakeholder. Why? I'll tell in a couple of seconds. You have service blueprints for sure done with your left side of people, yeah, organization side of people. Any other assets are quite welcome. Do you have operating model canvas, visualize? Perfect, give it to us. We need to understand left side. Then we need to understand right side, and all the basic things are here. So personas, users interviews. If you're like experiencing issues bringing those data sets to customer journey, use empathy maps, bring it to customer journey, and now you see you have two customer journeys. The delta between these is legit like ability to go and kick your stakeholders' butt, saying you thought it was like that. You can see how it is. Maybe it will bring some clarity to their head where they are in the maturity. But in the end, it's one per persona, one CGM, one service blueprint per persona. Designers are lucky bastards. They can see pain points in journey maps and like pitfalls inside blueprints and come up with the solutions directly inside their mockups. They jump from pain point in customer journey directly to Figma. Problem is that product team is not so mature in that type of synthetic activities. They need more clarity, and we can come up with many points, like starting from how might we and so on, to work together with them. One of those tools that we use in business model canvas, let's pay tribute to Osterwalder once again. Yeah, we're using value proposition canvas here. And this filled in makes your backlog. That features, products and services, items are your backlog. An iterative update of customer journey map is not only one-time instrument, but iterative instrument, showing both storing and highlighting problems of actual journey completion of people, is your go-to everyday instrument. And it doesn't say that these need to work all the time. It's modular. Depending on the task and level of your knowledge of the task, you can go both like discovery and then go like design straight, or even delivery straight with a couple of A/B tests if you are sure enough everything will work. But it gives you the luxury to ask yourself, how actually I'm convinced with this and I really know the thing. And if I'm not, I will run discovery to go with the shape of a thing. Yeah? And then with design to have many models of that shapes and test on really actual usage of that models to bring many models to one new shining. And as you know, our trainings were made in a way that we make designers in our 5-day sprints have several iterations, like 3 iterations in 5 days. It's madness, but it's madness for good. Yeah? When you finish this, you are easy on 5-day track, on general 5-day track. So why making many models? Why we can't just design one model and go to production? Because our main belief in this framework is that we learn so much more on actual usage knowledge of the tested model, not by model itself. The knowledge you get from user test is so big, and it can pivot you in so unpredictable ways, yeah, in a good sense of this. That's why. And as example, I always like to put this. I'll give you a like short TLDR of this. There was a class of ceramics. And teacher was kind of a guy. Once he made an experiment and said, you know what, class, I'm separating you in two groups, and group A will be doing as usual, all as usual. You bring me in the end of your study one vase, the most beautiful vase, the best quality you can produce, one piece. Group you're kind of tricky. I don't care how beautiful is your vase. All I care is how much vases you will bring to me. I will weigh them, and I will treat and put marks according to the weight and number of vases. The surprise of this story is when they came to exams, the best examples of quality were in group B, not A. We can easily answer the question why. Because with each iteration, average becomes higher. And if you repeat this many, many times, you will get really good results. And when you have third iteration of a thing, comparing to first iteration of a thing, you are kind of scared. You're saying to the first iteration, I was ready to bring you to production, you piece of, because third iteration is much better. Okay, let's put it on a map with design processes. Iterative design processes have many phases. Design thinking is thing that you can use all the time before you have actual solution plus unvalidated business model. You actually go to more robust and fast pace when you have a startup with lean startup process inside. So you need to be kind of fast and iterative because the iteration is usually really, really short. When you use actually Scrum and try put something, when you are really scaling the thing, when you have surely validated business model and the thing is on the market for sure. Right? Despite all these changes, iterative design is a modular thing that can be applied to any of this, in any state of a product, in any state of the company. And if you know Kristina Vodke and her ability, way of thinking about this mixing frameworks between trying to include a brand from her standpoint and other things. Those who know me for long know this picture. I've been doing this since like 10 years ago. We had this process and we won some prizes in Russia before the war, in UX Russia. That changed to product design training we've been running throughout the last 3 years. And we have succeeded with that framework being established inside Raiffeisen Bank Ukraine, running throughout 12 designers. And you can see we even simplified it to bring this to a organization who are far from terms like dual track and discovery. So imagine you have an iteration with only 3 letters, RDT. Not talking that it's Rife design team, but it's also research, design and testing. And this is modularity below, you can see. Depending on the things, you run circles differently. And even within a circle of word R, you can set different methods depending on the task and maturity of your team and how you all plan together. So coming back to the thing, and those were 2 things, and this is 5-day sprint with this 3 iteration and coming back and testing. The dotted things are for, as we say, horses who can really run fast. The like generic colors are for basic type of design sprint with couple of tests. Artifacts you have throughout these 5 days in asset list. It's all done in offline mode. You remember how, because many of you have experienced maybe our trainings yourselves. And couple words why we do this from like international education standpoint. It gets closer, taking aside war and all other things. But yet, Nielsen Nomagund, thank you for your knowledge, and we're asking twice as less money. We don't care how you do this, but it will be much more accessible, approachable if you lower your budget. Average 1k euro a day is hell of a lot. Yeah? That's why we established our trainings with the aim to have from 5 to 10x less money for Ukrainian people. So we had this. 1-2 design workshops in 1-2 days per person are 1-3k. It's hell of a lot of money for Ukrainian people. That's why there is not many people coming to study in Europe and US. Remote makes this progress better, but nonetheless. Some open data sheets showing the comparison between the providers of workshops in Europe and America and their prices brings no joy. Everything is kind of the same. Coming back to the slides from first research, we've seen now how organizations treat design. Let's talk a bit about designers themselves so we can match both of them. General, Ukraine design and engineering diaspora is wide and deep. We're not celebrating enough how wide and deep diaspora of technical and design specialists throughout the world is. Big Four, Ukrainians are there. Like McLaren, automotive, Ukrainians are there. Almost any company, you name it, Ukrainians are there. Through registrations of this particular event and talk we're holding now, I've seen guys of Ukrainian being designing Panda Dog, Lift, and many other things. Yeah, registered to this thing. Okay, we have vibrant design community on both visual and creative thing and product and service, yet small in size. And we need scale. We need much more people on that thing. Most of talent is outsourced. That means they are doing the thing not for local Ukrainian purposes. And it's a pity. Ukraine looks much like India in mid-2000, if you remember what I'm talking about. We have huge rise of developers. We have roughly 20 to 30 euro a year growth. And ratio developers to designers, we are kind of having 10% of that, yeah? 1 to 10. Developers not only have a lobby, they mostly form the teams, and the designers are the last to be hired inside their teams. The level of arrogance and ignorance. Yeah? Why? Because engineering lobby in Ukraine is high, and if you take any developer and look at first 3 books he or she ever read in their life, they will have word design in their title. Software design patterns, yeah, and so on and so forth. They treat themselves as designers. The problem that we are not already in technical systems, we are in socio-technical system. There is no API in the end anymore. There is a human in the end. And that's why we need to push designers forward. Yeah. Getting back to those, remember them. We're like refreshing our head. So we have designers like that. We have technological state as this. Now context of war, bringing closer to today. Designers did respond in fast and, surprise, surprise, decentralized manner. Nobody can collect all the things designers did throughout these 2.5 months. There are like attempts to organize designers in some way, but even these attempts go with a structure of decentralization by themselves, knowing that designers are already been working for themselves in these areas. For now, it takes mostly visual protest form. Yeah? So designers commit a lot of things that are visual protest. In other ways, let's call them art. Developers from the other side doing their thing, and many interesting stuff. We can have example is application of sirens, yeah, alarms, and now they're working together with government, with AGX, couple of companies joined together to do this thing. So these are the things we are wanting, And we wanted to take those designers with visual protest form for now, and those developers, and kind of mix them together and see what new solution will be produced. We really hope that product and service design community still has its own word to say. Yeah, as intelligent, high education people who are, say, not fast to respond. Yeah, they still didn't say their role according to the things that are like evolving. 2 months in, so what happened like since like couple weeks ago? We have couple of good things. Despite canceling Russia-speaking designers having authority on young Ukrainian minds and saying goodbye to Soviet design network Russia, stop partnering with Britain High School of Design and Hertfordshire, UK, and all other good things, but it's not. Other low-hanging fruits with the support of international community are like that. Meetups with international speakers as fundraisers. As you can see, we were not asking money for you to pay to attend this thing. We are kindly asking you to think about will you be able to pay after you attend this thing, and especially I'm talking for non-Ukrainian guys from this set. Yeah? Inclusion, highlighting Ukrainian designers during international events, and I'm talking wide here, including visual, like creative design and so on and so forth. International designers commit their social presence, their Instagram accounts and time to highlight what's going on and how the art part of Ukraine responds and even international part responds to that. Yeah. So mostly it's collect and share war art, reflecting and writing down their thoughts, reliving this, living through this. Yeah. But those all are, frankly speaking, what can we do now with what we have approach, yeah? We had no time and we did this, good for us. We were thinking a bit further, and we're trying to think about scenarios not so good for us, like imagine this war will last for years, yeah, and taking many different forms. By the way, for all who saw the Philip Stark TED appearance with the red jacket talking about our life and evolution, he pinpointed in the end of his talk something about barbaric state of things we are falling in. And he said that it's not barbaria we know, it's new form of barbaria. I think with the Russian invasion we actually know this form, but we don't know how to answer and be prepared for that. Yeah. Visual part of response is quite graphic. Pink Floyd, local meme, yeah, capacity. So it was a meme go viral, then music on that meme go viral, and now this track is being played in European dance festival. It's so good. Then we have a lot of interesting stuff going on, like making Ukraine being an old school game, or free champagne when Putin will die, yeah, or going with text, with fonts, with the honor of our cities who struggled the invasion, or the Moscow warship being sank actually inside aquarium. Yeah, this goes good. Some cafes doing those, translated to English, guys. Russians are not our friends because friends are not lying on the ground, yeah, like dead. These, both Ukrainian and international, many of them in different forms. And I'm finishing with this one for a purpose. Yeah, that means something. That means something, and liberty is even more important in this picture. Couple of big pushes in community development of designers. Top is creative part of the thing made by Banda Agency, hosting 10k people gathered in roughly several days, working towards creative and visual part of design protest form mostly. Projector, most well-renowned design institute that started is mostly creative and visual, and fortunately incorporated parts of correct design inside itself, now is raising like this, making this fund, trying to educate 5K Ukrainian women to have creative and design jobs on their shoulders. Kudos for them both. Finishing all of that, I'm leaving you with these two. The uglier slides are coming. It means we're getting to the end, and the more I want you not to look at beautiful slides, but like make your brain engine start working. So think about 2 points in time. Call one before Liberation Day and call the second one after Liberation Day. It's 2 different planning horizons. First one before Liberation Day is much more time bound and important because we want make this day come as fast as possible for obvious reasons. After Liberation Day is much easier and far-reaching thing, yeah. But I want you to think about both these things in terms of 2 questions. First, how we can integrate Ukrainian designers that had to leave the country and need to adapt inside European Union, especially and maybe in US and other parts of the world. How can we make smooth integration of these designers? How we can communicate culture and ethics of making products and services inside the European Union and other parts of the world, so our designers don't make mistakes or don't like look stupid. We can help them somehow. Second one is support new products and services design and development inside Ukraine. Especially how we can support the design community by hiring them from here. Many lost their jobs, so you can hire designers from Ukraine, and there are a couple of services already organizing those designers as a lists of people so we can select from. Second one is like, how can we collaborate with all the international design community, on future design? So remote participation of that international design community is utilized as much as possible. And I'm talking mostly here as design acts of Don Norman, saying that international design community needs to work as top chief international knowledge holder designers need to do this in tight collaboration with local designers who work in areas of problems. So we are talking about maybe this type of collaboration. And maybe we are talking that government of Ukraine will want to have some kind of, I don't know, auction or something that they will show that these type of collaboration and work are really needed by the country, by the government, because before we kind of didn't, And in the end, how we can learn from these events in case of repetition. Imagine it freezes now and reappears in some way or another in other part of the world, and Ukrainian designers will be not as like people who die, but some other nation will. But once again, the international design community. I'm asking, will we be prepared? And the one tricky question, do we actually need to? Because somebody will ask this, so I put it before, up front. Do we actually need to be prepared, or it's not our job? And if we do, how? Thank you all for your time. I'm leaving this slide. I can show you that we're actually trying to build Design Institute in Ukraine. You can donate your money into our account, and you can contact us as service.so. The thing is wrote here. This social account is fully working and up. Any communication about help, participation, collaboration is quite welcome. We are open for anything. From near days, Service.so is opening itself for fully free activity. We're making our activity free for designers to participate, and we're making activity free for projects to participate. Priority number 1, volunteering projects in before liberation state. Second, volunteering projects after liberation state. Third, all others. So we have any volunteering projects needing of UX products, service designers running the sprint and methodology you just saw. Having in the end design being covered with user tests, especially delivery teams, maybe some delivery engineering teams who don't have this. We're wide open, contact us, and we will be really happy to talk through. Thank you all. I'm leaving this slide probably as last. This is more important for now. Maybe I will ask our organizers to provide a couple of donation links in the chat, so you are not alone if you want to spend your money helping Ukraine. If you will want to help us, you will want to contact us directly via service or on Facebook or website. There are some links inside. But let's talk a bit maybe about this. Especially I want to engage Ukrainian designers who are working inside and outside Ukraine, who've been through these pain points one way or another. And now looking at these questions, I've said maybe I'd like to hear more intro thoughts from them and maybe following international guys after. Do I need to start asking by name, or we will be kind of random?
You may have to. First, I want to say thank you. This was incredibly informative. And I did put one link in the chat to donate, and we can put others. I'm really happy to see so many of you from Ukraine. And so I'll throw it back to Max to say who should talk. I mean, nobody's raising their hand, but there are some questions.
When I was looking at the list of people who did register, I've highlighted several people I'd like to talk. One of them is for sure Andrew. Second one is for sure Sergei Kudryashov, if he's here, because Sergei is kinda interesting history of being Russia came to Ukraine after 2012 protests and had to leave Ukraine after Putin came bombing us here again. And I wanted to ask, maybe let's see who we have. Katerina Korovkina, of course. Olena Ivanko, of course. Stan Zadvorny, of course. Victoria Kalamitz, of course. Andrusha Serежа, Nastya Idlarova, Valik Yalovoi, Sasha Bezapchuk. All are welcome. If you are here, if you've been listening to this all this time, maybe Dima Damashenko and Alla Khrinina, who are actually designers from Raiffeisenbank, my colleagues, they have internal knowledge of how this.
I can say a few words. Hey,
yeah,
everyone.
Sure.
I'm interested to hear from you too. You guys are muted. I know we have a question from, go ahead.
Thank you. So my name is Andrei. I work at a company that's called SoftServe. I've been lucky to be part of the design team from the beginning, almost from the beginning. In 2011, I joined the company, and there were basically 7 of us. Now there's about 170 something, and we're not located in one room. We're located everywhere, from California to Singapore. That's the spread of my team that reports to me, and I'm only the design director. So basically, there's another level above me that we were able to build, right? I feel like the relentless nature of some of the designers, or in general, some of the specialists in Ukraine that I know, including myself, I think I'm being tremendously lucky, allowed us to just push forward. And one of the things that and I've talked to Max a lot in early days. And so basically hiring above my skill level was something that I was allowed to do somehow. I was just very annoying probably to our COO and CEO. They've tried to hire a couple of people to manage us. But of course, since they're not designers, they had no idea who to hire. And so that flapped a couple of times. And then once we persuaded them to start hiring people and us being able to talk to them, that worked. Matt McBride, some of you might have heard of him, was, I think, this first major shift in the maturity of the organization. And the company, just FYI, I'm assuming a lot of you don't know, Softserve is a company that is about 13,000 people large. And we provide the digital services to other companies. And so that shift was due to Matt introducing a much more streamlined framework based on design thinking that everyone now knows, but it was a while back. And so I think in 2016, he came on board. And up till including 2018, we were running workshops with everyone, and not only just showing, this is the design thinking, this is why it's important, blah blah blah, all of the statistics. That doesn't really speak to people. You have to run the workshop with HR to fix their problem that they have. And so, like, once you do that, they see, oh, this, we really have that problem, or we had it, and then we went through this process, which makes sense because it's sort of like a scientific, basic, no-brainer type of process. And then we know what to do with it, right? We at least have some ideas. We have a backlog of assumptions and hypotheses that we can test, and we know how to do that. And we did that with salespeople, with the executives, with different sorts of project managers, and of course with designers. We train them regularly. And I feel like that type of leadership is essential if you want to have a major shift. That seat at the table, as well as a person who's not only who has theoretical knowledge, but also is a pretty much a practitioner that can show how it's done and advocate. Those two pieces have to go hand in hand. So yeah.
Okay, but like you're a lucky boy, yeah. You're
yes,
top
very
brass
much
of Ukrainian design, yeah, and you're all like surrounded by lucky boys because you've been doing this for 11 straight years. 11
Yeah.
straight years. Yeah. For now, like it's a success story. Yeah, and it's like in some way mirror of your successes of your team that were like bits and
100%.
pieces of our research as well. And we experienced the same problems with the whole set of Ukrainian outsourcing companies. EPAM, same thing. Cyclum with Lisa, same thing. So we had design teams here and there, and friends of ours. The problems were like the same, so that made that research list. But like if we are coming closer to a slide and questions we're having here, you as person who lived in US, yeah, and knowing like difference between Ukrainian and say American culture, and knowing like more or less European culture. Imagine average Ukrainian designers getting there, especially girls for now, yeah. So how they fit, what top 3 things that they will break, so we need to communicate them this beforehand.
Correct me if I misunderstood the question, but from what from my perspective, I think US culture and in large part European culture allows designers, for the most part, to have a much stronger soft skill type of profile, meaning they know how to talk about design, not only doing design, because we have a lot of people who are technically very strong. Like our clients are in awe most of the time how strong our junior designers are. We have pretty hard time hiring people from the market just because the level or benchmark is pretty high. We really don't want to drop the benchmark because we have the target to hire more aggressively, right? And it's something that you have to balance. So
Okay, if you decompose the soft skills, because I really enjoy that point, I need to like
yeah,
see what's inside that point. Soft skills is good point, and it resonates with me when you say that hard skills are really okay in Ukrainian specialists. That's why
yeah,
this integration is mostly about soft skills. And what you'd highlight from the set of soft skills that are like priority number 1, 2, 3, like English language. 1, I'll help you.
well, yeah, sure.
Second,
English is important if you want to speak to English speaking people. But at the same time, like active listening, not only listening to people and waiting for them to shut up, but like listening to try to understand, right? That is important because of, and I really don't want to bash on anybody, but that's been, you know, sometimes it's a pattern with people getting so strong technically that they become a little bit arrogant, right? Because I can do pretty much whatever in terms of design. Then because I do that, they have to listen to me. No, they don't.
Yeah, you can
right, so,
go. Yeah.
Yeah. So like what I'm and that's not, you know, that's not unique to Ukrainian or any other sort of designer
I
from
see.
any country.
My idea was like, if I want to rephrase, it was like all you said is like talking like modern words, articulating design in and out. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, understanding the actual value, not just defending the process, but sort of building that bridge. And so, for example, that's why I went into business design course, right, with the MBA, because I need to understand that mindset. I need to know how to prototype with numbers. Like I need to deep dive into Excel sheet and prototype the actual solutions with numbers to understand the impacts and to be able to articulate that to the person who's talking money, who's talking business.
Yeah.
And that's not typical, unfortunately. Not a large percentage of people do that, more now than before, of course. But I feel, and it's a good trend. But like you've mentioned, the sort of like the struggle between BAs and designers, it's not gone per se. Now it's just different, meaning like everyone became a lot more experienced, and the, you know, the maturity is on, say, another level. But now we fight over like business design. Whose discipline is that? I'm like, dude, what does it matter? Like if you are a business analyst or product manager, and if you want to do you know, a service blueprint, do it. I'll help you. But we don't have to be defensive over it. But some people are territorial, I guess.
Yeah.
Territorial,
For
yes.
sure.
Sorry.
Okay, Andrew, thank you. Can we
Thank you.
maybe ask a couple of girls, especially from product management and design part of Ukraine? Maybe Nastya, maybe someone else. Nastya,
Yeah.
how the list was like relevant to you from your standpoint of being product manager inside big companies?
First of all, I was really lucky to work with Max in one team. So, and a huge part of my knowledge in the product design I received from Max. I'm not a designer, I'm like a Scrum Master. And for now, I have experience to work with the British small company, product company for now. And when I had my first meeting with the CPO, the first questions from me was do we have the user canvas, do we have the customer journeys, do we have something from the product perspective, etc. So and he was like, he didn't expect such kind of questions from me. So it is related to the question, how can we make smooth integration of UI designers? I believe that they will fit well. Absolutely, because the hard skills is like incredibly, that's what I saw, at least in the bank and at least in the Max team. So it's incredibly hard skills, and the soft skills like communication, yes, the openness, creativeness, etc. So I don't see the difference between the designers abroad. So Ukrainians just need to raise their voice and say, hi, we can do the job. And it's like, I don't see the difference. So good design and good soft skills, it's like across countries, it's cross-cultural. It's something that not inside the country. It is, and if we may use it and show the world how awesome our designers are, so please help us to do that.
Okay, thank you, Nastya.
What can we do to help other than
I don't know, maybe is there some communities where we can share information about the designers that lost their jobs, for example, or share some vacations with the Ukrainian designers so they can pick up. And one important thing that I forget to mention, that it's all about the culture inside the company. So it's not about the BAs, for example, or other specializations. It's about the culture of the company. If you match here, then everything will be perfect, and you will fit into the team like you were always there.
Yeah,
Maybe-
from like management, organizational management standpoint, design and its integration, it's actually like XY axis. So you either have management who knows what design is or doesn't. It's one axis. And second axis, do they actually believe in you? Yeah. So if the person knows design and believes in you, it's top-notch thing. Yeah. So he knows design and he treats you as person who can work on that. Wow. Yeah. The worst thing is person who doesn't know design and doesn't believe in you. That's thing you should beware, run away from that. Yeah.
Yeah, and actually I have a question to Max, if you will. Back to my CPO, yes, Chief Product Officer, he was like very impressed with these questions, and it's like the start to implement the design thinking inside this company. And as it is the product, small product company, so where is the right, like it was growing from the startup, you know, so it's not always a lot of money and investment on the start of this journey, but what is the right point to engage these stages, so the design on the good level. And yeah, I understand that it shouldn't be in 5 or 10 years after the starting of the company, but where is the perfect match? So with this investing, gaining the money and spending it to design?
I don't quite catch the direct answer for your question because it's like tripod question. So from when you should what? Start implementing design? have
Yeah,
implemented design.
let's imagine we are startup, like we have 5 developers, product developers, if we're
Yeah.
lucky enough, so they can do anything starting from the development and to testing, etc. And one CIO, how we can do without him or her, and probably that's it, or one marketing guy or girl. To gain something, we need to produce something. But we do not have a lot of money. So what is what is your suggestion? Yeah, in that case.
If you're super sure in your business model and you have really experienced designer, you can postpone your research activities for scaling stage. Yeah. But like all the time, only if you have experienced designer, because in other way it will become a feature bloat. You will need to revise. Yeah. That's why there are a lot of luxury point of having design from early style inside the company. And the earlier design starts inside the delivery process. Yeah. So you can start it saying, here is a requirement, go make UI. Yeah. Or even worse, go make UI with these components. Yeah. And design.
Yeah.
And you can go wider, wider, wider. So he can go research the reason we are doing this thing to make the better thing. Yeah. And the bigger shift goes when your product manager actually relies on customer feedback data to not only prioritize backlog, but create backlog, create new increments, value proposition based on the customer feedback. All you want to do is have been 100% check mark on issues like user database, split by personas, and owning couple of methods such as user interviews, customer journey, user testing. This combined with design give you inevitable small piece of the engine that works, because secret of source of this is end of the iteration, because it will bring you more and more cumulative knowledge about your customer. And you'll be surprised how fast you'll be so good at your customer that all your thoughts, all your backlog items will work like focused in one point. Because usually product managers play with the backlog like Tetris, you know. Each feature is like the same. We need to stuff this engineer. Let's put it 2 weeks here. Yeah. And it needs to, and the whole backlog needs to be like an arrow flying to the customer need. Yeah. Trying to solve it. And when you have this understanding of your customer and what you're actually doing, all your activities now start to matter much more. Yeah, because you are, as a product manager, touching so many parts of your product. Release notes in Apple's App Store, yeah, anything. And you're starting to look at that absolutely with your new eyes. Why this happens in Ukraine and maybe around the world? 95% organizations say they have enough customer data to make correct solutions. Only 35% actually do. You can imagine a company having having no idea, not getting in that set, having no idea about customer, but thinking they do. Imagine even they have like 35% of customer knowledge, but they think they have 100. So you bring new customer knowledge and say, guys, you need this. They say over 100%. Why? We already have everything. Yeah. And when you look at the backlog and see Tetris in backlog, it means you don't know your customer. You don't know, because the art of management is removing requirements, not adding them.
Yeah. And not using the HIPAA prioritization method, like highest important person opinion.
Important person opinion can be always be argued back with data, with customer data.
Yeah.
I was going to mention that because sometimes when you have to justify it, you could do some ROI, which sometimes, like you're saying, is customer data, but sometimes what we've done, and I don't know if this will work in Ukraine, is to look at like customer support costs and then balance that with everything we've been talking about, right? And then that could bring the customer support cost
Yeah,
down.
it's one of the most popular things, saying that you have customer pressure, customer support pressure, and it will go lower. Like the big thing is that design. I heard it from my teacher called Herakliusz Lubomirski from Poland, and he said once, design is 50% of your business, but not the first ones. So if you have a business model that works and earns you money, design will make 2x of that. Yeah, but design from the start is nothing. You need to have technology, you need to have business idea, you need to work towards like targeting and get into the particular set of customers. But good design makes 2x. Yeah. And like the ROI of design is actually tricky thing, because especially developers and people with development legacy like to play this game, because they are kind of in discrete world of numbers, and it's easy to make formulas in their world. But in world of design, formulas are not that stable. Yeah. When we're speaking with developers trying to make a comparison of something, saying how it's different, and they were like shooting me with phrases, you can't rely on design, here is different, here, like, why you can't use this static discrete something. Yeah. And I say, imagine that it's 100 meters running and 100 meters swimming. If you run underwater, you will make a progress, but it will be ugly. Yeah? Yeah. And it's different laws of physics in some way when you add liquid around you. So design is like walking in a liquid. Yeah. So it's a bit different.
Well, the other problem is good design is invisible, and they don't get that, right? Like, that's what I always think. They just
Luke
don't-
Wroblewski once said, good design is obvious only retrospectively.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. Like, if it works, you don't notice it. And only you notice it when
Yes.
it doesn't work.
Yes, yes. It just works. One glass-eyed guy said. Okay,
So-
guys, I'm leaving us with these questions. Maybe someone I didn't ask is holding their breath to participate and talk, and we are making this 4 people talk in between. Please join us and say your thoughts about these 2 big points we are looking at.
Yeah, we want to hear from you. And the folks that had to drop off, they're going to watch the rest of this, so you can still share.
You see, not so much people are here now, as I see. Yeah, we have only 8 people or something like that.
Right. Well, we're past
And
our
we have
time.
really committed, hardcore, knowledgeable part of the people here.
Mhm.
What a better time and reason to see a lot of ex-colleagues and friends as under the umbrella of International Speaker Series. Yeah, I think it's good. I see you guys at least here, at least now.
I'm happy to keep this open as long as you want. I know Dan has to drop off too, but I'm here. I mostly want to know how to be more supportive. I've heard that, and I did talk, I know she had to drop off, but I think if you saw earlier on, Liz Gerber was on, and she's actually runs Design for America. And she is a professor at Northwestern University. So
Nice.
yeah, she had to drop off, but she and I talked about ways we could try to help find jobs, for example. And I know that's one thing I'll follow up with her and others. Also, Yulia Goldenberg was in from Israel. She said the same thing. She had wanted to just provide support. And she said, Max, she will write to you. I'm definitely going to save the chat for those who want to that. But other than, I mean, obviously trying to find jobs is key. But what else? If there's other things, you know, like we really want to support you, just other than sending money.
First of all, let's keep in touch, because if even we don't have a good solution for now, it doesn't stop us from thinking further. Yeah.
Mhm.
And here you can see Alla Hrinina. Alla Hrinina is kind of our magical totem mascot person who knows everything and owns the whole database of our users, and she runs throughout research throughout Raiffeisen team. So I probably make us a connection,
Okay,
and she and we as a team will come up with some like points, like 1, 2, 3 as solution options.
okay,
And it will take like people resources, maybe budget, maybe something else, and we will stretch all those things one or another way to see how it can be packed into something.
okay. That's great. Because then, like I said, at least I can speak, well, I can get design for
Yeah.
America. And then honestly, anything, you pick a country and I'll find someone there.
Okay. Like from top of my head, how help can be done is if service SO will have some tasks from leading companies, you know, as a chair, doing something for the purpose of doing it better, not for the purpose of really making it go into production. Let's say if Google comes and say, you know what, Max, take this Google Drive interface that whole world hates, and let your designers dream big about this interface and redesign for 3 months. And we'll make a like award for that, for best design team, for like, let's say 5K. Yeah. And then we can have like one task from Google, another task from another company that can be like iterated once again. And if I don't have volunteers project, I can pick any of those and throw it at a team and see how Ukrainian designers deal with world-class projects on an interface and UX level. We can make like presentation of those works. We can like make them, as Andrew remembers, make them articulate themselves.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay,
because it's a problem with this today.
okay. So we can think about that. So I have to do a little fundraising for that, but I'll work on that. We do have the International Design Challenge, but it's not till September. So I want to do
Yeah,
some.
we're trying to think
Yeah.
about conference organizing this year, and maybe like international speakers, because imagine we want to make conference and hackathon. So there will be talks and then it will be hands-on. And we will just add server SO as this engine of doing things with this process just to the conference talking part. And we'll make a conference with hands-on areas.
Okay.
And even if international speakers want to commit themselves for some type of a workshop, even if it's like granular, like small ones, like information architecture, user testing, anything,
Yeah.
just
Honestly.
around this framework, any methods.
Okay. I mean, I will commit myself. I mean, I'm a professor. I could teach, you name it, in UX design, and I can get others. So I can start looking at that. I mean, some of the people that were on and had to drop for various reasons, depending on what time it is where they are, said they wanted to help. We had Shaina Lazam from Cairo, Egypt also, and she was happy to help. So we've got a few leaders in the field internationally that I can, bring in now that they've been here. And so we could follow up on that.
I have my personal list of favorite speakers, so I will share it with you. Maybe you can pick someone from them.
Sure.
Those guys are top notch.
Okay. I mean, honestly, I was saying this to Max, and I'll say it to you guys. You guys have this moment in time, sadly, but also it's an opportunity. I think you're a role model for lots of other countries, lots of other disenfranchised groups, lots of oppressed people. And so you can really use this time to, get done some of the things you guys want to, and I'm happy to help. And there's a lot of people out here who are happy to help.
I think it will work even in the other way, because Ukrainian community can actually share, because imagine, to make service and product design in failed socialistic state is one of the hardest things you can imagine. Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, you're role models. I really think you're role models because you're persevering under just hellish conditions. Well, from what I can tell from far away. And, you know, it's really moving. It's really moving and inspiring. You guys are so inspiring. I spent half of my sociology class talking about Ukraine and President Zelensky. So,
Thank you.
Nice.
yeah. And I think I told
Oh,
to Max there, do you guys know the band, the Foo Fighters? Okay, the
Yeah.
Foo Fighters. So they've got a song now, Can One Man Save the World? It's about Zelensky and Ukraine. So,
wow.
yeah.
+1 in music category.
Yes,
Pink Floyd, Foo Fighters.
Right.
Interesting. Who is next?
I'm
Who
sure
can
there's,
beat Pink Floyd in the
That- well,
first place? Yeah.
I don't know.
It's hard. It's
Maybe
hard.
one of the younger, newer bands.
Yes, maybe.
Working
We'll
on,
see how it will evolve.
yes. We'll
I see
definitely-
by the energy of this talk that we are kind of on the brink of the end, yeah? And maybe it's time to thank you all for coming, for having this short talk. I'm hoping Ukrainian guys who are around me will not like leave and then not come back. I want to talk with you more because Serviceor is open in itself, and I will be glad to see you as volunteers, or even maybe people who bring project with volunteering teams and try to manage them with the help of our designers. If you
Okay.
have time.
You can stay on. I'm probably gonna go, but
I know all these kids.
Yeah.
They are like my first circle, all of them.
good. Well, that's probably why they're still on.
Maybe they're waiting when somebody says, you know, it's time. Goodbye.
well-
And they will say goodbye and they will exit. And they are so shy and polite, they don't do this now.
Yeah. I want to thank Elizabeth for organizing, and Max, thank you. I was glad to see you again. You're awesome as usual. Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Thank you for,
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
thank you. All right, we'll be
We'll
in,
be, yes, in touch, in close contact, and we'll prepare our follow-up things to see what we're gonna
okay,
do
sounds
next.
great. Thank you very much. Stay
Thank you,
safe,
Elizabeth.
stay healthy. Yep,
Thank you for
Thank you.
having
See
me
ya.
us.
Bye.
thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.